Good morning, guys, from the city of Maspalomas on the island of Gran Canaria. I decided to make the beginning of a new series here, which is called the Travel Advice series. So, while I'm walking you through the beautiful alley around the ocean, let me tell you what is my purpose here. Many people are asking me, how do you travel so much? Isn't it too expensive? Is it difficult? Does it take too much time to plan it properly? Well, in fact, it is not so hard, so I decided to give a few advices to those of you who want to travel but are not so experienced and are wondering how to do it properly. So let's start directly with this part one, with the elephant in the room, which is the airplane tickets. Airplane tickets are in most cases the most expensive part when you travel in countries which are not so rich, which are the majority of the countries in the world, unfortunately. So the low-cost companies are our saving here. First, before going into details, let me mention that nothing of this video is sponsored in any way. My channel is not monetized at all. I don't have any sponsors. Everything is one-man show. Everything is financed by my own salary because I don't have any other source of income. So whatever I mention as products, websites and so on are things that I personally use and find useful, and they didn't sponsor this video in any way. I'm not making an ad here, nothing like that. So with that remark, let's start. Low-cost companies are a great way to save money, but there are some caveats compared with the other normal airlines. One of it is that usually don't offer connecting flights on their sites. What I mean about that? Well, in the normal airlines, when you go to the site, you select your starting point, you select your destination, and it automatically calculates if you need to catch any other flight. For example, you are starting from Sofia, you are going to Cairo in Egypt, and there is no direct flight. If you are traveling with a normal airline, it will tell you, okay, no problem, but you need to catch another plane in Milan, for example, or Rome, or wherever they have it, and you just go to the next step. You pay for both tickets, everything is in one reservation, and everything is easy. And one thing that this approach gives you is that if the first flight, for example, got delayed or get cancelled or any other such unfortunate things, they will try to help you because the reservation is for both flights. They will transport you at the airport directly or so on, or they will give you compensation if the second flight is not successful because the first one was delayed too much. But with the low-cost companies, at least some of them, like Wizz Air and Ryanair, which I frequently use, this is not possible. You cannot even book directly connecting flight from their website. So you need to first use a third-party search engine, like for example skyscanner.net. This is the one that I use to find the connecting flights that you need. And when you find this, you need to buy them separately. By the way, always buy directly from the websites of the low-cost companies. And from the websites of any airline that you use, by the way. Because this way you don't have intermediaries, and if something happens, you can directly contact the airline, which improves your chances to get these things sorted easy. So let's continue. Use the skyscanner.net to find the connecting flights, and after that buy them directly at the company's websites. This is the approach that you can use, but keep in mind that if anything happens with the first flight, it gets delayed or it gets cancelled or something like that, nobody cares and you are alone. They will not give you any compensation and they don't care that you have another plane to catch. So when choosing connecting flights like this, always leave a buffer like at least 3 hours. It is better to be around 4 to 5 hours between the flights, because usually the airlines get penalties when they have a flight delayed for more than 3 hours. So they do their best to fit within 3 hours delay. And you also have some time at the airport to transit between the gates. So my advice when choosing connecting flights with low-cost airlines, always choose ones which have at least 3 hours layover, and you better aim for 4 and 5 hours. So this is one of the things. Another one, when to buy the tickets. Well, it is best to buy them around 1.5 to 2 months in advance. Usually for some destinations this is not valid, but most of the time it will work well. Yes, you can find sometimes last minute deals, but you can't count on that. If you are wondering where to go for this weekend, of course, check their sites. If you find something interesting, buy the last minute deals, but if you plan in advance, you better do it around 1.5 to 2 months in advance. And the third important thing there is, don't pay for any extras. They earn their money from the extras. Additional luggage, paid reserved seats, and so on and so on. Cars from the airport, transport, boarding priority. Don't pay for any of this. They will charge you too much when they add up. So always travel light, only with cabin luggage, only with small backpack. Now some people say traveling with small backpack is not possible. Well, that's not the case. Just take your time to think what you actually need to the place where you will go. After all, wherever you go, people live there, so there is no need to bring with you your whole house. What you actually need, even for the longest trip, are several pairs of socks, several pairs of underwear, several pairs of t-shirts, reserved trousers, jacket for rain and wind and so on. And that's practically about it. This will cover around 90% of the globe where you can go. So no need to bring anything excessive. You don't need spare shoes. You don't need anything more serious with you. Just bring whatever you will actually use during these few days. And if you are for a longer time than 4 or 5 days, you can always pay a few dollars for a laundry service at the hotel, instead of bringing with you a whole additional backpack or case or whatever you want with a lot of clothes. This is simply not needed. So learn to pack wisely, travel only with backpack, and this will save you a lot of money. To sum it up, guys, for the low-cost companies, plan in advance 1.5 to 2 months before the flight, buy the tickets, travel light, use search engine to find connecting flights, and you will save a lot of money.